All right, so this is for all the fathers out there and wannabe fathers. How to be a great father. Okay, now I know this is kind of arrogant of me to do this video, and arrogant to say, like, I'm calling myself a great father. Yeah, I am. I know I'm a great father. I don't care how arrogant that sounds. I just know I'm a great father. I know because I put a lot of time into it. It's the most important thing in my life. I actually spend time. I research it. I look up. I read books. I study. I'm there. I see other parents, and I know it. You know, I know that I was always going to be a good father, and then on top of all the extra effort I put in, I know I am, and I don't care how cocky that is. So, yeah, let's get straight into it. I would say, number one. All right. Now I don't know how many of these I'm going to give. I'm just going to go off the top of my head. There's so many things that go into being a great father. Can't cover it all in this video, but these are the top ones that I feel that they're the most important. These are the foundations you need to work over if you're a father, and the ones that I've learned the most from in the last 5 years with my two boys. So number one, I know I use this a lot in other videos, but I think it's unbelievably important. Be in shape. Be in shape. Health is wealth. Okay? Health is wealth. Nothing matters in this life if you lose your health. And if you're not healthy, if you're not in shape, if you're not exercising, you're a fat slob or whatever it is, guess what your kids are going to be, or more likely to be? Exactly like you. Kids don't do as you say, they do as you do. So to lay that foundation, to be a great example in that way, that you're in shape, you work out, you train. Ideally, you can train at home at least some of the time. I'm not even joking. I live a 45-second walk from a gym, a big gym, nice gym, loads of equipment, swimming pool, all of that. But I train at home. And I train at home because I want my kids to see me. I want it to rub off on them. And this sort of bleeds into the next thing, is like, be the example. You should be the example. They don't do as you say, they do as you do. Be the example, not just in being in shape. Be the example in how you keep the house. Do you tidy up after yourself? Do you read in front of them? Do you give good examples, bad habits, good habits? How do you treat their mom? Blah, 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 blah. All of these things, these are so important, being the example. So the other one that comes to mind is be there, be present, be a present father. You see, the thing that kids value the most when they're young, especially when they're young, the thing they value the most is your time. Be there for your kids as much as you possibly can. Now, of course, we all have our responsibilities. We've got to work. We've got other things going on. We need our own time. If you can carve out some of your own personal time as well, you can't always pour from an empty cup, of course. But I think the responsibility you have, ultimately, being a parent, is so much about sacrifice as well. Be there for your kids as much as time. Make as much time for them as you can, and make that time quality. When I'm saying present, just be there, I mean be present with them. This is so important. Try to be off of your phone and so on. Now, this is, I'll hold my hands up, right? As great as a father I think I am, I'm not perfect. And one of the problems that I have is sometimes I'm on my phone a little bit too much at times. My wife has called me out. I got a lot better of it. But you know, if I fall into it, I do fall into it here on YouTube, checking it, replying to people, starting my community. But as much as you can, be present with them. They know it. Children know this. If you're not fully there, even if it's not even with a phone, it's just in conversation with them, playing with them, be there, be involved. They can feel it. They love that. It gives them so much energy. 10 minutes of that, 10 minutes of real focused time, fills them up. It fills them up and actually allows you a little bit more of a break further down the line. Whereas if you're not fully present with them, they're always going to be craving that, asking it of you, because you're not giving it to them. So it's unbelievably important, way more important than you going out being a killer, being a a multi-millionaire and getting the bag and taking care of their future. What they care about the most is you being there and being present with them. The next thing I would say, learn how to communicate with children. This is so important. I recommend you take the 5 top-rated books on how to raise kids, right? And child psychology and child communication. Learning to communicate with your kid is so vital. Now, that's again, that deserves a whole other video, but one tip that is massive with children that I'll give to you is validate them as much as you can. They bring you home, you know, one of those ugly, crappy ass drawings, right? They've done at school, artwork that you have no idea what it actually looks like. Don't just validate them. Validate. They're showing you. They're showing. Say, hey, Papa, look at this. You know, see my drawing. Validate them. Oh, that drawing. Look at it. You worked so hard at this drawing. This is it. Wow, you really like this drawing. You know, you get the example, right? You should validate them as much as you possibly can. Don't just be like, oh yeah, nice, cool. Children are looking for that validation. They hurt themselves. They fall down a slide. Don't just try and go, shh, it's okay, shh. You know, it's like, you have really hurt your leg there, right? And you'll see something amazing when you validate a kid, especially when they're upset, they calm down way quicker. So that would be my number one tip with communication, but dive into it. Learn how to talk to your children, which leads to another one, and that is encourage. Don't criticize. I've seen this throughout the years as a tennis coach. I see it on a daily basis for so long, so many times. So many parents, all they do is criticize. Oh, you did this wrong. That's not good enough. You made this mistake. You should have done this instead. Blah, 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 blah. And you see it. You see it in the kids' eyes. It just kills them. They hate it. Right? And instead, there's so little encouragement from so many parents. It's always pushing them. It's always getting them to do things they don't want. It's always coming from a place of criticism or not enough. Right? Your love should be unconditional, and for almost every parent, I'm sure it is, but that child doesn't know it. They feel like your love comes with conditions, that if they do this or they've done it incorrect or they have to do this better, and if they do that, then they'll get the love. Encourage. And again, the main thing with this is praise effort, not outcomes. Because if you praise the outcomes, whether it's a good outcome or not, they start valuing the outcome, and they start feeling that pressure from themselves and so on, and feeling like, again, they have to please you by getting the right result. Effort is the way. I've seen that with my kids. Praise the effort. Oh, well, you worked so hard at that picture. You know, you had so much focus. Well done. I'm proud of you of how focused and how hard you worked at that, and how much you were concentrating. The difference I see with my kids obviously with my older kid, when I do that, it's unbelievable. It's like they don't feel the pressure to achieve it. They don't feel the pressure to please us in that way. It's the effort, and then it becomes an intrinsic motivation. You want to spark that intrinsic motivation in children. And then the last one, yeah, man, I would say, you know what? I'd say they're my top ones for now. I think I'm going to do many more videos on fatherhood and some keys and some tips and everything else. Top of my head right now, I think they're some of the most important. So, yeah, I hope this is of value. If you're a parent, if you want to be a parent, come bookmark this, come back, looking back on it and everything, and hopefully look into it. And I encourage parents to research it. That's a big thing. Maybe this is the last tip. Research, look into it. I hear so many parents say there's no book on parenting. That's not true. There's hundreds, there's thousands of books on parenting, right? Yes, there's no one book for your specific child, but at the end of the day, they're still a human being. They still have to operate under the umbrella of a young little human being. And there's a lot of research to back it up. And of course, paralysis by analysis can happen and so on. I suggest just take five books, and you're ahead of 99% of parents, and your kid, I'm sure, is going to build off an incredible foundation. So I hope this helps. If you enjoyed it, got a lot of value from it, don't forget, I've got my free men's community in the description and in the comment. I'll probably pin the top comment. It'd be amazing to see you guys in there. I appreciate it, guys.